What can you remember about psychotherapy?
Psychotherapy can help a number of patients, and what it helps them do is understand their psychological, emotional, behavioural processes, and understanding and insight in the first place can be helpful, but then it can also lead to helping people find ways of dealing with the problems that they're having. Personal history is important because it gives us a broader understanding of the person, particularly things in their background, little bits about their personality, other stresses and strains in their life, other health issues, other things that may be relevant to what's going on at the current time and the presenting difficulties.
When I was 10, I had rheumatic fever and I ended up with heart problems, and I was in hospital in Cliveden, Red Cross Hospital then, for a year, and I was out for 10 months, and then I went back in again with child form of rheumatoid arthritis called Still's disease, an offshoot of then rheumatic fever. And I had all sorts of problems with my joints and everything. So I was in there another year, came out when I was 12. And I've had problems with my body ever since. But I manage, and I'm okay. I could then dance and jump about and do everything anybody else could do.
This is one of the reasons why personal history is important.
Well, someone who's overcome problems in the past, such as Marion had, might be a good indicator that she's got a good chance, a prognosis of overcoming problems now. What she needs now is some help in overcoming the current problem. So the past might give us an indication of how well she's going to do.
Up until this accident, I didn't give a damn, really. I was lucky to be alive. I shouldn't have lived through my earlier illnesses, I was told, well, my mother was told. And okay, I'm happily married, I have 3 children, I could do most things, and I had a full and happy life. So my body really, okay, you say, oh, I can't do that, but I can do this, and you make do, and I've been fine.
In Marion's case, I was expecting and hoping for a good outcome. There were various indicators that led me to believe that she might do well, and they were that she was highly motivated. She wanted to get back to how she was before. She was very enthusiastic about treatment. She was willing to join in collaborative work, so undertake the tasks that we were doing. She had strong family support. And she'd also overcome things in her past, which was all of which led me to believe that she would make a good recovery.
The therapist is optimistic.
But what does Marion think?
What we would do is help the person understand what is going on for them, specifically in a given situation. So you would identify those 4 points on a model. You'd get them to say what was going on in their thinking at a particular time, what was going on emotionally, what was going on in their body, and what their likely behaviour was, so that they'd have a greater understanding of what was going on. Then you could look at what they were doing that wasn't helping them, that may increase the anxiety. For instance, avoidance increases anxiety rather than helps it. So you could then put in place various strategies such as relaxation, such as challenging thinking, to help people feel more in control and reduce the anxious, vicious cycle, and feel much more in control in a situation.
It's been very, very difficult. Very difficult. I had, especially to start with, when I was going, I had to go privately for help. And when I got there, I was in a wheelchair because I couldn't walk. But the physio there, she was wonderful, and it was a 1-to-1. I was paying. I've been paying hundreds and hundreds of pounds since this accident for help. She really was good, and I had every week 1 session for a half an hour in the swimming pool, in the hydrotherapy pool, and half an hour's exercises, physio. And she really helped me. And I'm walking. If I'd have left it many more weeks, she said I probably wouldn't have been able to walk. How do I feel about it? I feel very hurt about my care. My husband looked after me, and he still does, all the time. Nobody seemed to want to be bothered with me. Every time I went to Wexham, I was forgotten. Twice I was left. Nobody remembered me in the corner. And I'm not a quiet person. I can make my voice heard. But I didn't seem to have been looked after properly. And I felt and I still feel very angry about that I shouldn't have been abandoned, really, I suppose, which is what I was. I feel stupid that I can't overcome these, having gone through such an ordeal with if you broke your hip now, they'd whisk you in, mend you up, and you'd be toddling along as good as new. But as I had a lot of problems beforehand, I couldn't get better. And it just took so long, and I just went on and on and on. I think that if I can just get over, I'm sure I can get better. I want to feel as I did before. That's what I want, if I can. And I'm sure I should be able to.
I don't think there's any reason why you shouldn't at least get back a very much, a long way to where you were before. You're not being stupid, you're being anxious. If you could substitute the word anxious for stupid.
Right. So I'm not stupid. I'm going to go straight outside and say to David, hooray, I'm not stupid.
What are you struggling with, Dave?
I am struggling, yes.
Very, very, very powerful condition.
Yes.
If a lion walked through this door, we'd both be profoundly anxious. And we'd probably be stuck to the spot. And a whole range of other things would happen because of the anxiety.
Yes.
That wouldn't be stupidity, it would be fear, it would be anxiety. And that's the condition you've got at the moment. That's what's happening to you. It's just not a lion. It's a fear of hurting yourself or of falling, of going back to that dreadful place.
Yes.
Where you've been.
Yes.
A glimmer of hope.
Will Marion's therapist's optimism hold?
Find out in Chapter 4.